Green Noise is back.
Oh, so you just got on a bike and went and figured it out?
Yeah, I just went. The mountains, the fynbos, that's part of the privilege of being able to present this event.
There are more trails that we can open up that can have overnight factor to it along the route. Having more activities that will open up a bigger audience, come and access our reserves.
Welcome to Green Noise, a podcast series from CapeNature, now in season 3. My name is Dan Corder, and CapeNature puts together this podcast because we value and want to celebrate and tell the stories of conservation, biodiversity, sustainability, and ecotourism. And we have another very, very special episode for you today on the business of successful events in protected areas. And we've got two wonderful experts to speak to me. The first is Johan Kriegler. Thank you so much for being here. Founder of Wine to Whales, which I've been told is not Alcoholics Anonymous for marine life. And the second is CapeNature's Landscape Unit Manager, Wesley Leukes. Thank you so much for being here, the both of you. And welcome to Todd's Holland Nature Reserve. We always record the CapeNature podcast on one of the reserves, and we are currently on location on the top of a mountain, which I think is an absolute treat for hosting this episode of the podcast in season 3. Let's start with you, Johan. Tell us a little bit about Wine to Whales, the event series that you founded.
It was founded 16 years ago, and basically it's a 3-day stage race, mountain biking. Goes from Lawrenceford to Hermanus. And then we sort of copied the comrades 4 years ago. And decided, okay, why don't we only go one way?
Oh, I see.
Let's turn it around, sort of, because we can. And so we've got to switch back every second year.
Okay, so sometimes the whales go to the wine. And sometimes the wine goes to the whales.
Yes. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. So is it separated? Because you said 3 days, right?
Yes.
So is it separated by stays in the evening?
No, it's the same. So basically, so they start at Lawrenceford, they go up to Oak Valley. We set up a race village there to accommodate about 1,200 riders. So everything is there. There's like a big marquee tent. We've got a kitchen. We do ablutions. There's luxury tents. There's normal standard tents. And then it's actually 3 events in a row.
Okay.
So just to accommodate the numbers. Because, we can't, the trails can only accommodate max 1,200. That's it. So it's like in 2 weeks, we've got these 3 events running.
And is it mainly mountain biking trails the whole way?
It's mainly mountain biking trails, but I would say, if one look at percentages, I would guess it's about half specific mountain bike trails, and the other half is like gravel roads or jeep tracks or whatever it is. But yeah, I've got something in the back of my head to maybe look at opening it up, some of it to hikers, because the hiking sort of market is just much bigger than the mountain bike market. So that's maybe a opportunity going forward, to look at that, and especially slackpacking kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm talking ahead in future.
You should copyright the idea before this show comes out, or you've just given it to somebody else. And Wesley, tell me about your role as the landscape unit manager at Cape Talk. Give us a little bit of an idea. There's so many people who watch and listen to this show who love CapeNature and go to so many of the different reserves and sites, go there, repeat offenders, I guess, like do it often in the same places. But many people, I think, who attend have actually very little conception of the people who work at CapeNature and what their specific tasks are that bring together places like Gantouw Holland. So as landscape unit manager, what's your role?
So I provide support, coordination and assistance for all the staff, CapeNature staff working within this landscape unit, which comprises of the Gantouw Holland Nature Reserve and then Jonkershoek Nature Reserve and Assegaai Nature Reserve. All forms part of the Boland Mountain Complex. So, we do everything that is required from us to provide protection and conservation within all the protected areas within this landscape unit. I was just thinking now, with Johan speaking about bringing in possible hiking trails now to Wine to Whales. We are looking at opening new hiking trails that will provide additional access to a number of the now visitors. That's almost an outcry from our annual visitors within our reserves. So that will assist with Johan's idea that he has as well. So yeah.
Do you want me to just step out and you two can have a business meeting and we'll record it as the
Well,
podcast?
we'll do it after this in any event, because myself and Johan have some ideas that we also need to work on and speak about for the future Wine to Wales events taking place within this reserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
So landscape unit manager, is that everything from security guard at the gate, cleaning staff, rangers, reception, everything?
Yes. So
Wow.
I'm not involved in that much detail, but
Okay.
yes, I oversee and am accountable and responsible for all aspects that takes place within the reserves and the landscape unit.
How do you get into that kind of work?
Well, I guess it starts off with a love and a passion that you have for our environment and for nature. I wanted to become a vet when I was younger. I think and then I pivoted into broader space. And yeah, you end up looking at and working in the line of actually doing all the administrative work that goes with looking after our environment. So it's not just you walking around in the field and up in the mountains every day, unfortunately not.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's a lot of people management and coordination that goes with that. Yeah.
So Johan, when you were coming up with Wine to Wales, what attracted you? Firstly, so you've described a little bit of the route already, but what attracted you to this specific route and made you think you could get 1,000 people as mad as you, or mad in the same way as you, to do this route on a bike? And why did it feel good in the Winelands and Boerland to use CapeNature reserves?
20 years ago, there's another 3-day stage race in KZN called Sani to Sea. And they were actually the first ones doing like a 3-day stage race through wilderness areas, go down there in Nkomaas Valley and so forth. And for Capetonians, it's a logistics slip to get there. It's like, because to get to the places is also, that's by bus, and it's far away from sort of main roads and stuff. So I did it, and then on the second day I thought, why am I battling so much to get here? We've got all these beautiful mountains, we've got the Fynbos, we've got the Kogelberg Biosphere, and I'm staying in Somerset West, and I had a beach house in Hermanus. So I thought, I must figure out the route.
From one house to the other.
So I started, and it took me about 3 months to figure it out. Sort of bicycle over the shoulder, some places, and
Oh, so you just got on a bike and went and figured it out?
Yeah, I just went. So and I got to farmers, and I will say to them, listen, I'm looking for a sort of a trail or a route that you can cycle on a mountain bike from here to Hermanus. And he'll look at me and he'll say, but the N2 is just there. You're asking me. So eventually, sort of, I got it figured out, and and it's just the beauty of this place. It's like, I think it's near to heaven. The mountains, the Fynbos, and all the places you can see, and that's part of the privilege of being able to present this event, because we also get a lot of overseas cyclists. They'll come back and they'll say they've never seen such places in their lives, just in terms of the beauty of it.
What are the CapeNature reserves or spaces that you guys go through on that trip?
So it's we touched quite a few places, and we also touched some of the stewardships areas where CapeNature and some of the farms like Oak Valley Paul Kluwer, even going down Groenland Bergside, there's stewardships between CapeNature and those farms. So we touched it there, but the main area I would say is the Kogelberg Biosphere. That's coming from Lawrenceford up the old Oxwagon Pass, Gantouw Pass. So there you have to portage bike over there, so it's over the shoulder. And when they complain, I'll say, guys, there was 4,000 ox wagons going over this pass like many moons ago.
No suspension.
No suspension. Nothing. Sort of just basically Bible under the arm and a gun and hope for the better future, and off you go. And it's sort of, so I will say to them, so you guys have got like carbon frames and stuff and
suspension,
and you think you're an adventure? Look to those.
That's so funny.
So and then into the Grabouw area, which is also part of CapeNature. And so we're passionate about the areas, with and we've come a long way with CapeNature. I'm also part of the EPIC group. So So we ourselves assist in island clearance and stuff, because we also, that's the other thing. So it's not only cycling; it's a case of experiencing the beauty on a bike. So along the trails, we try to, where we can, to at least clear it. Let's say like 10 meters each side of the trail.
Right.
So you bring the fynbos back and the proteas, and they're
That's
in
amazing.
full bloom, and look on this bike, and it's like, gee.
That's
I actually want to
amazing.
go a step further, but I
Stop
will
giving away your ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's watching this, they're going to steal it
No.
from you.
This one I can say.
Yeah.
And that's actually just to put up sort of, because I've got all the photos of all the various sort of plant species. But do the basic ones and put it up along the trail and say, this is like a dendron, this is a protea, this is a...
People can stop and learn and interact with the space.
cycle past, but then they at least see, put 5 photos up with a name.
That's
and at
great.
least it's part of the... And we sensitize them in the evenings. The Kogelberg Biosphere is also one of our partners. So we show videos of that, and we sensitize them about the uniqueness and the beauty of the area.
Yeah, I hear you. So, Wesley, now everybody watching and listening will be like, I once had a good idea like Johan. I now also want to go to CapeNature and say, please help me put this together. What's the process involved in trying to become a partner, having a good idea, coming up with a creative plan, and then engaging with you guys and trying to see if it's something you guys want to happen, you guys think will work, all that kind of stuff?
So just before I get there, Johan's going to need about 1,300 signboards for that bird species, because that's how much bird species we have here. Plant species, sorry, and bird species about 110.
Plants about 9,000.
So the process usually, there's a procedure that needs to be followed. So applicants would usually email our email address to inquire first, what the chances or possibilities of events to take place. There's application form that must be filled in. Application forms get sent through the relevant reserve offices, where myself and the conservation managers would review that. There's a checklist that we take it through to look at the environmental impacts, risks for the people, as well as for the reserve and the site managers and people working on the site, and for the people doing the events application. So there's a checklist that needs to be followed. And if it meets the necessary requirements, usually from the reserve side, we would provide that approval. And then back through to our info office, situated or based at our Cape Town office. And then they would take it forward through from there. There's site assessments that would be done, reconnaissance missions or assessments that get done on site. And there's usually a partnership that's formed between ourselves and event organizers or event coordinators, like with Wine to Wales and the Cape Epic, which are annual events, where there's also a portion of giving back to the conservation area for the areas that they partake or use within the reserves. And that helps us and it helps them also. So there's a mutual beneficial relationship between ourselves and the event organizers.
I see.
So
What kind of event applications do you get most commonly at the moment? I'm going to guess trance festivals.
I just think about that quickly. No, so look,
Raves.
it's usually for hiking trail events.
Are you sure? Because I know some people.
They might have been doing that without our knowledge, but
I wouldn't say that. There were too many of them to go without notice.
So hiking trail events. We have events like the Jonkershoek Mountain Challenge, the Cape Epic, Wine to Wales, as you're aware of. So it's hiking trail events and mountain bike challenges. Those are the most common event applications that we get. Yeah.
And tell me about the minimal impact strategy. So how to make sure that large groups of people can move comfortably and enjoy themselves in protected areas without, I guess, desecrating the protected area and making sure that everybody wins.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we look at when we look at applications, is that events make use of existing structures, use the footprints that are already existing within the particular areas that they're working in. So that helps us minimize the impact that they potentially could have, whichever the event is and the path that they follow through. So that's what we assist in coordinating, and also ask of the event organizers that they stay within those confines, just to have minimal impact and have the their footprint be as small as possible within the conservation area. So
I see. And I'm sure with all of these kinds of events, there's really exciting like economic impact, right? Like on another episode on season 3 of Green Noise, talking about rock climbing, the incredible boom that's been to a place like Rocklands and the Cederberg, which aside from the recent uptick in rock climbing visits there from people from around the world, didn't have many economic opportunities to create jobs and attract people's attention. Johan, tell me about this, how large scale it is to put something like Wine to Wales together, and how, to what extent it's creating, I guess, job and work opportunities for communities all the way along the route.
So it's 3 days. We stay over at Oak Valley at one place, so we don't move the venue. So that's different between us and the Epic. They do move 3 times. So putting up the Rice Village itself, that starts like 2 weeks before the event itself. We, throughout the year, we've got our main beneficiaries is Cape Trials. It's a group of 4 previously unemployed youth from Grabouw. So they've been with us for 15 years. We've built houses for them, and they're an integral part of the whole event thing. So they will throughout the year do the trail maintenance and, sort of small trail here or another bridge there or whatever. But the Rice Village itself, that's quite a thing. As I said, we need to cater for almost like 1,000 riders staying over for 6 nights for the 3 different events. And we employ about 300 people from Grabouw to assist in various functions on the Rice Village itself. So it's quite a thing to put something like that together. But one of our proudest things legacies is the fact that we've got Cape Trails. They're fully functional. They've got vehicles. They've got equipment and stuff. And
that's amazing.
We love it. And they've got bikes. They've got mountain bikes themselves.
Yes.
So we've taken them to various events so that they get a feel for trails. We also train them in the IMBA. There's a standard how you build trails called the IMBA. It's an International Mountain Biking Association guidelines. Because, you can't just build a trail that get washed away in winter or with too much water and stuff. So there are things that one needs to know. But it's just such a privilege and fun to do it.
For sure.
Although it's large.
Yeah. And then I imagine for both of you, I always laugh at the concept of litter, because humans are going to make waste anyway. It's just when you're on your own, you're leaving a little bit of litter somewhere, then now it's litter. But we must carry it all away. It's a serious thing. But when you guys are organizing enormous events in protected areas, literally, I have been watching a lot of The Sopranos, and I'm not meaning it in the criminal way. Literal waste management, not cover up for anything else, is very, very, very serious. So is that a massive logistical issue for you, Wesley, when you're considering what kinds of events, like how you're going to manage the waste of all these humans in this place where hopefully the next day barely any of that waste remains?
Yeah, look, there's always support from the whichever reserve that the event is taking place with assisting when it comes to when managing and making sure that there's not a big litter impact or footprint left behind. But that's also left to the event organizers to make sure that there's a plan in place with how they're going to manage that, when it's going to be removed, how it's going to be removed, because they want to return if it's an event to come back again. And, they're not going to leave the place littered with waste. So there should be a plan in place for litter disposal. And, we usually try and make sure that the event organizers stick to that plan. And that is usually the case. We don't have a big challenge as far as that's concerned, because our event organizers usually adhere and comply to that litter or waste disposal plan or program that they have in place.
What do you think is the next frontier for CapeNature hosted, or at least events that take place on CapeNature reserves?
So,
where are we going besides raves and trances?
So look again, with the new trails that we're opening up, there are more trails that we can open up that can have overnight factor to it along the route. We don't have many of that. That will open up a bigger audience to come and access our reserves. Having more activities along longer trails that we are looking at opening within the reserves.
What kind of activities?
Adding more activities.
Like Cape Canopy tours here, for example.
Something like that. Kloofing also as another option, which is one of of the activities that take place within the reserve.
What is kloofing for people who don't know?
So it's a mixture of hiking, running, walking, diving, swimming, cliff diving. So it's a mixture of high impact, high intensity activities that involves water and a lot of running and walking on land as well.
Moving through spaces which humans have avoided moving through for many years.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that are afraid of heights that might not necessarily want to do it. But I've seen a number of our visitors.
And it's called kloofing.
Kloofing.
Is that the South African term, or are the Americans more saying kloofing also?
Well, no, I think it's a South African originated term. Yeah. And one of our most, not infamous, but most attractive trails for kloofing is our Suicide Gorge, which has a very
great name.
Yeah, but it's wonderful. It's one of the kloofing trails that our visitors mostly use. Yeah,
that's super interesting. Yeah, because I was wondering what. A lot of people have spoken about how COVID drove us all inside, and then we came out of COVID, and suddenly everybody had a hunger for and a new, fresh appreciation for the outdoors that we had before, but we'd gone soft on because it was forgiven. We took it for granted, and now we have it more intensely. What are people looking for now when they come to a CapeNature Reserve or for a CapeNature hosted event?
Look, a lot of people come for the quiet and for the green noise experience, but to do activities as well, and learn more. There's a lot of people that are aren't aware of the myriad of activities and attractive options within the reserves that's available to them. Not necessarily on the doorstep, but pretty close to where a lot of our urban settlements are. So there's a number of things besides for looking at our wildlife and our flora and fauna species. It's just enjoying the peace, the quiet. Takes you a bit away from the urban noise and settlement. And they're just looking to enjoy themselves. And obviously, there's also a lot of our reserves has accommodation, overnight accommodation, and fantastic tourism infrastructure that can be made use of, and that's available to the public.
Amazing. Johan, tell me what the people say about Wine to Wales at the end. What's the stuff you hear most often? What do they really like? What are they not sure about, except for carrying their carbon-fibre bikes over their backs?
Yeah, so I would say the most common sort of expression of satisfaction is to say it's the best fun I had on my bikes in school.
Wow, that's how. Look, I rode a Fox trick bike when I was in school, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. We used to ride BSA bikes. Bicycle South Africa was it called. Me and my friends, I think we were the oldest mountain bikers around. So we started before even mountain bikes, they called, what did they call these things? But they just had the thick knobby sort of wheels, and they had these high-rise sort of handlebars.
Like a Harley.
Yeah. But it was all steel, no shocks, nothing.
Wow.
And we used just to bang down a mountain with these things.
Wow.
And no helmets, nothing. And then the mountain biking thing started, and it became sort of a straight handlebar. The first shocks we experienced, it was just sort of basically rubber in the shocks. So the shock just goes like this. And it's a hardtail. And we thought this is the best thing under the earth.
After all of that, gears must feel like cheating.
Yeah. And I mean, the first bikes, the gears, they were only like 3 gears.
For sure.
So now we're at 12.
But like, what other things do people really like about Wine to Wales?
So the other is obviously the total experience. So, for instance, just to name a few things, it's like registration is in the winery of Lawrence, which is one of the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere. So you walk in there, you get this nice smell of old red wine in sort of oak sort of barrels. So what we also try to do from the Wines to Wales side, so we specifically focus and target the recreational market. So we want 90% of the riders to be finished by 12 o'clock, latest 1 o'clock. Midday.
Okay.
So then you finish, you can chill, have a nice hot shower, you go have a nice cold beer, and you just chill the rest of the afternoon, sort of.
Because how many
versus
kilometers?
The Epic, which is much more.
Yeah, how many kilometers is Wine to Wales in total?
So in total, it's approximately 200. So it's like, it's about 65 per stage for the 3 days.
Super cool, man. I might get a mountain bike and do one
You
of those things. Yeah, I don't know. I love my road bike though.
Ah.
I love my road bike, but there is that moment out of George through the pass down towards Nature's Valley, that hill, and I thought to myself so many times, if I could just freewheel down this road, that would be. I'd break a lot of laws, and then Wesley would call me, and it would be a mess. But we'd try to figure it out. So Wesley, for people who've listened to this episode who now want to get in touch because they've got ideas, please let us know how to do it.
Well, they can contact info@capenature.co.za. They can contact me as well, or any of the conservation managers. If you look at the CapeNature website, all the contact details for the relevant conservation managers and our staff that you can contact about events applications or just have any inquiries with regards to the reserves. It is on our website, that's a means and a way that you can get hold of us, and we can provide you with the information that you're looking for.
And then Johan, for One to Wales, Google is your friend.
Yeah.
No Instagram, no Twitter, nothing. Google is your friend. I love that. Well, thank you so much to the both of you. A really, really fascinating episode of Green Noise from season 3 on the business of successful events in protected areas. A Green Noise podcast brought to you by CapeNature.